We've looked at fillet welds with the triangular symbol. Now let's look at groove welds, which are these things here. And a groove weld is what you have when you have two pieces of metal butted together, as if you cut their edges off square and you smack those square edges together. So let's go look at those. The square weld is a kind of groove weld where you don't do any preparation of the edges, you just butt the square edges together, and then the welding melts the two edges and adds some filler material, and there's your weld. If you come from just one side, you would put the symbol just on one side of the line, and if you come from both sides, then you'll have those symbols on both sides of the line. I'll show you examples a little later. That might have been confusing. A bevel weld is what would you say? It's like a one-sided V. With a bevel weld, you leave one plate square and you bevel the other plate. Now, when you are putting these symbols on your drawing, you do not say anything to the fabricator about what dimension to make that bevel. You draw the plates as if they were both square edges. So it's totally up to the welder to come along and bevel that edge however he or she chooses. If you want the whole bevel weld to come from one side, then the bevel weld symbol goes just on one side of the line. If you want it coming in from each side, then the symbol goes on both sides of the line. And notice again, just like with the fillet weld, the vertical edge always goes on the left. A V-groove is where both plates get beveled. So your welder, you will draw the plates as if they were square, but your welder will see that symbol and will know to bevel both plates. And again, you can have a V-groove coming entirely from one side of the weld, or you can have half the V-groove coming from each side, a double-sided weld. Here is an example from AWS. So in the top example, we see here is a V-weld, all from one side. It's the arrow side, so they've put the symbol underneath the leader line. And you could point either to this front view or this side view. In the middle example, this V-groove is actually on the far side, not the side the arrow's pointing to. So the drafter has put the V-groove symbol above the line, meaning far side. In the bottom example, there's a V-groove on both sides of the plate, so the drafter has put a V-groove symbol on both sides of the line, so you can see what they look like. They kind of turn into an X. A U-groove is a more expensive weld to prepare than a bevel or a V. You tend to see it happen more with thick plate. Here's the symbol. I don't know about you, I've never used one. I've seen one on a shop floor once. And then, just to be thorough, a flare weld, I don't know. It's called a groove weld, but I think of a flare as kind of like a curvy fillet in a way. So if you have two things come together where there's a curvy thing that makes a curved space, like here's an end view of a tube, you can use a flare weld there.